In today's video, I am going to show you how you can install and set up Fastqc on a Linux environment. I will also show you how to run Fastqc on an example data. For those who don't know, Fastqc is a tool that is used to perform quality control on high throughput sequencing data. Fastqc does this by running a set of analysis on the data of interest, and then it generates a report which can be viewed using your browser. This is an example of a Fastqc report. You can click on each of these sections and then see what is happening. If you want to read more about Fastqc, you can visit the developers GitHub page, which is here. I will leave the link to this page in the description box. You can also visit this page here and then read more about Fastqc. Now, if you want to run Fastqc, you need to make sure you have Java installed. If you check the requirements, you need to have Java installed. If you are going to run Fastqc on a Fastqc file, then Java is the only requirement. But then, if you want to run Fastqc on a BAM or SAM file, then you also need to have the picker tool installed. For this tutorial, I will test on a Fastqc file, so we don't need to have picker installed. So that's about it. Now, let's proceed. If you don't have Java installed, I have a tutorial that shows you how to install Java on a Linux system. So you can watch that tutorial and then set up your PC. The link to that video is in the description box. You can also click the link here to check that video out. So that's about it. Now let's proceed. We are now going to download and set up Fastqc. So make sure you are on this page. The link to this page is in the description box. So when you are here, just come to the download now text here. So click it and then you'll be sent to another section. Okay, so on this section, just check where my cursor is. Just look at that area. You will see the Fastqc versions here. If you want to download, just use this one here, Windows/Linux, okay, because we are setting it up on a Linux system. So this version is what we use. So to download, just click it and then you'll be asked to save it. I am going to download on my terminal, so I will get a download link. That's another way to get the zip file. So I'll right click, then I'll copy the link, then I'll move to the terminal. So join me on the terminal. Okay, I am on the terminal now. So the first thing I'll do is to cd to my home directory. And then I am going to use wget to download the zip file. So I'll say wget and then I'll supply it with a download link. And then I will download it. You can also use curl to download. So the most important thing here is that you make sure you get this zip file. That's what you need to have. So let's download the zip file. Okay, the file has been downloaded. Let's do an ls and then you see the zip file there. Okay, so that's about it. Now let's proceed. What I'm going to do next is to extract the content of this zip file. So I'll say unzip and then I'll supply it with the file name. So let's run this command. Okay, that has been done. So let's check it out. Let's do an ls and you'll find another directory here, which is Fastqc directory. Okay, so let's ls into it and then see the files. Okay, so this is the executable. Okay, this is what we run if you want to open Fastqc and then use that for your analysis. Now, Linux by default does not allow execution of files. So what we have to do is to make sure that we have given permission. So that means that we need to add execution rights to this file. So we will say chmod +x fastqc/fastqc. Perfect. So now we can test Fastqc. Now let's test by calling the Fastqc and then searching for the version. So we will say Fastqc. So we will say Fastqc/fastqc. And we say dash version. So this will give us the version. Okay, so this is what we have now. Now Fastqc can be run on a command line, and you can also use a graphical interface. So if you want to open it and get a graphical interface, you have to say Fastqc /fastqc and then run it. So this will open the graphical interface for us. So let's run this. Okay, so Fastqc has been opened. This is a graphical interface. Okay, so if you are here, you can come to file and then you can open a file and then Fastqc will run analysis on that. You can also save the report. There are a number of things you can do here, but when we do the actual testing, I'll show you those ones. So for now, let's close this window. Okay, so that's done. With the current setup we have to always specify the path to the Fastqc file. I mean, this one here. Okay, but this can be problematic because when you are working on a Linux environment, it's likely you'll be moving from one directory to the other. So we want to set up our system so that we can only call this name without specifying the entire path to this file. So that's what we are going to do next. So if you configure that, you'll be able to call Fastqc by its name like this and then run it. But with the current setup, it's not possible, and that is why we have this statement being given here, that command not found. Okay, so we are going to configure our system so that we can just call Fastqc by its name here and then just run it. So let's proceed. So let's clear the screen and continue. Let's do an ls and then proceed. So what we are going to do next is to create a directory and then move this Fastqc directory into that one. I always try to organize my files, so I always make sure that all my tools, all my software are placed in a single directory. So I'll create a directory called apps. So I'll say make that apps, and then I'm going to move this one there. So I'll say mv -v Fastqc / so mv -v Fastqc, and then I will say apps. So it will be moved there. So if I do an ls into apps, I'll find Fastqc there. So if I want to run Fastqc, I can just say apps /Fastqc, and I'll specify Fastqc again. So this time I'll just use the version to do that. Okay, so we are now going to finally configure the system, and then we'll be able to just call this name and then run Fastqc. So to do that, we will need to get a path to the Fastqc file here. So that's what we are going to do. So we have to first cd to it. So we say cd apps. I'll say Fastqc. And now I'll do pwd to get the path. So I'll say pwd. It's supposed to be lowercase, so pwd. Then I'll run it. Okay, so now I'll have this path displayed for me. So this is what I'll use. Yours is likely to be different, so make sure you have yours copied as well. So take note of what you have. I'll copy mine. Okay, perfect. Now I have this particular part. So what I'm going to do is to edit my .bashrc file, then I'll add this part here to the system part. So I'll cd back to the home directory, and then I'll proceed. So I'll first make a copy of the bashrc file, okay, the .bashrc file. So I'm making a copy so that in case anything goes wrong, I will reverse to the original one. So I will say cp.bashrc, and I'll say bashrc.back. Perfect. So if I do an ls, I'll see that file there. Okay. So now edit my .bashrc file. So I can use nano or I can use vi. So any text editor is fine. So make sure you use the appropriate one. So I'll say nano.bashrc. I prefer to use nano, and then I'll run it. and then I will scroll down to an empty space and then proceed from there. So when I'm here, I will just say export path equals $path, and then I will paste the Fastqc part also here. So this is how I do it, and then I will save the changes. Perfect. So now I'm done. So if we want the changes to take effect, we need to open a new terminal. So let's open a new terminal and then test Fastqc. Okay, so I have opened a new terminal now. So if I want to run Fastqc, I can say Fastqc dash version. So this will list the version that I have for me. So that's about it. You can also open it using Fastqc like this, and then this will open the Fastqc graphical user interface for you. So this is how we set up Fastqc on a Linux environment. So now let's test with an example data. We are now going to perform quality control on an example data. So let's look at the data that we are going to use. The data is available on the European Nucleotide Archive database. So this is a page. I will leave the link to this page in the description box. So when you are here, just scroll down and then you see the data here. So we have these files here. So this is an E. coli sequence data. Okay, so these are paired end rates. So we are going to use this and then this. Okay, it's for the same isolate or the same organism. So we are going to download both. So make sure you get these two files on your PC. Okay, so you can click to download, or you can also use the download link and then just download on the terminal. So do that. I already have mine downloaded, so I'll move to the terminal and then we'll start the exercise. So join me on the terminal. Okay, I'm on the terminal now. So I have the data available on my system. So if I do an ls, I'll see them there. And these are the files that I'm going to use. So we are going to do this. We are going to run Fastqc using the command line approach, and we're also going to use the graphical interface. So let's start with the graphical interface. So to get the Fastqc running, you can just type Fastqc. Now we have configured our system. So Fastqc, and then this will open the graphical user interface for us. So if you are here, what you have to do is to just come to File and then go to Open. And then you can locate the file that you want to run the analysis on. So you can click and select one, or you can even select both. Okay, so depending on what you want, you can choose one or you can choose all of them. That one is up to you, but let's just choose both. So I click on one, and then I also use the shift or the control button to highlight the other one. So let's open both. So when you open both, Fastqc will start the analysis on both of them, and then it will give you the report. So currently the read 1 is being loaded. Okay, once it's done, read 2 will also be loaded and the analysis will be done. So, and you also have the progress being indicated, okay, in percentage. So we have this one also running. So read 1 analysis has been done, and then read 2 is currently being processed. So we can have all of them here. So let's wait for read 2 to also finish. Okay, so both have been done. Let's maximize the window and then look at the Usee report. So this is the report. So let's start with read 1. So we have this matrix there. So you can click on each of them to see what is happening. Okay, so we have them like this. So just click, then everything will be given to you. Okay, so with Fastqc, when the reports are generated for each of these sessions here, they will have one of three colors: green, or this color which is like orange, and then you also have the red. If it's green, that means everything is okay. If you have this color here which is orange also, yeah, then that means it's a warning, so you may want to just check what is happening. If it's red, that means that something is wrong, or probably something unexpected has happened. And so Fastqc will raise this alarm for you by giving this color here. So you just have to check and then see what is happening. Of course, sometimes it can be red, but it doesn't mean something is wrong. So you just have to know what's happening. You just have to understand your data, and then that will help you to really confirm if something is wrong or not. So that's about it. So let's look at this one here, per base sequence quality. With the Fastqc, the per base sequence quality gives you the quality scores for bases. Okay, so we have three areas here. When it's here, that means the quality is very, very low. So you can see this box and whisker plot here. If you have them coming to this side, then the quality is very, very low. Okay, so you can see the scores also here. So anything below 20, it's in this region, which means low quality. If it's here, somehow good, so that's also there. And if it's here, that means it's high quality because the scores are high. Okay, so anything above 28, that means it's high quality. So you can use this to just have an idea of the quality of your reads. So that's about it. So here you can see that some of the bases, the quality is very low. Okay, the quality is low, so you can see them moving to this side here. This is to be expected with Illumina reads. So sometimes if you see them, you shouldn't be surprised because Illumina reads sometimes have some of their reads, especially those at the ends, okay, having low quality. So that is a feature of Illumina reads. And so if you have some of your bases in this region, okay, the quality being in this region here, you can do what you call quality trimming to trim those reads and that have poor quality. So you can use tools like Circle, Trim Galore, etc. to do the trimming. Okay, and that will help you to improve the quality of the reads that you have here. So that's about it. Let's look at R2. R2, you can see that the qualities here are very low compared to R1. Okay, the quality of the reads here, the bases here are low. You can see a lot of them in this region. So again, you can do quality trimming to remove those reads that are of low quality, and then after that you can proceed with your downstream analysis. So that's about it. Today I'm just doing a test run with the Fastqc, so I'll not go into details with the QC report. So that's about it. So now we have used the graphical user interface to run Fastqc. So after you are done, you can go to File and you can also save the reports here. So let's save both of them. You can save the report. So click on Save Reports. And let's just create a directory. Let's say reports, and then you save both reports there. Let's click on this one and also save the reports. So we have saved them there. So now you can close it. You can close it here. You can also come to File and then close all, or close. So if you go to close, it will close the current window. Close all will close everything, or you can just also use this or exit. Okay, so that's about it. Now if you have lots of samples, then it's advisable to use a command line. Okay, that will make things a bit faster for you. When I say a bit faster, not necessarily faster, but if you use a command line, it helps you to kind of streamline things. It helps you to automate some of the processes involved in analysis. So I prefer to use the command line to do the Fastqc activity. So I'll show you how to do that. So if you're on a command line, let's look at these ones here. These are the files. I'll just create a directory and move them there. Make that Fastqc. And I'll move them first to show you something. So I'll say move star.fastqc.gz. So I'll do an ls and then ls into Fastqc. Okay, now I'm going to run Fastqc on this one. So if you want to run Fastqc on all the samples or all the files here, you can say Fastqc and then you specify the directory /star. And then this will run everything for you. So let's do that. So this will run everything for you, just like how we selected all the files when we open with the graphical user interface. So it will also do the analysis, everything here, and then give you a report. So if you're using a command line, the reports are automatically generated for you. So once it's done, you will see some files also there. Okay, so Fastqc has completed its job. So let's check them out. So if you do an ls into the Fastqc directory, you'll find some HTML files there. Okay, so these are the Fastqc reports. These HTML files can be opened with a browser. Okay, so we will look at that very soon. Now, what we did was to run Fastqc on all the files in the directory, but you can also specify a single file. Let's just make a copy of this into our current directory. So let's say cp_srr. I think I have to specify a directory first. So cp or copy fastqc/srr 1.fastqc.gz. I'll just copy this here. Let me copy the other one too. That's read 2. I'll copy them again here. So I'll do an ls here. Okay. So if let's say I want to run Fastqc on just a single file, I just need to specify the file name. So I can say Fastqc and then I'll specify the file name, this one here, and then I'll run it. So Fastqc will also do the analysis for you. Okay, so this time we specify just one file. So Fastqc will just take that file and then the analysis will be done on just that one. So you can do it both ways. You can specify a single file, you can specify all files, or you can specify a number of files as well using some Linux commands. So that's about it. So that's also done. So if you do an ls, you will see an HTML file here which has the report. There's also this one here which has some information that Fastqc has generated. So these are HTML files. So let's open them. Let's use the file manager to open one of these HTML files. Okay, so we are in the file manager now. So there's the HTML file. Okay, the one we generated. These are the reports that we generated when we use the graphical interface. They are basically the same thing. Okay, so you don't need to be worried. So I'll just open with I'll just open one of them. So this HTML file is what I'll open. So you can open with your internet browser. So just click it and then it will be open for you. So again, you will see the reports there. You can click on each of these sessions and then see what is happening here. Okay, Now let's look at something here. So I made mention about the per base sequence quality, and then this one too here, it's showing some flags here. It's red flag, so that means something is probably wrong. So this one too, overrepresented sequences. So here we can see that there are some Illumina adapters here. So that is why here you can see this line also coming here. So the color here has also been indicated here. So these are Illumina universal adapters. So you can also trim the adapters. Okay, so if you want to trim the reads, in addition to the low quality reads, you can also use the trimming tools to also trim the reads and remove adapters. Okay, there are other options you can specify depending on the tool that you are using for the trimming. So these are things that you have to read about. And I also try to make some tutorials where I show how to use some of these trimming tools to trim your read. So just make sure you come back to this channel to watch those ones as well. So that's about it. So that's all for this tutorial. So if you want to learn more about how to use trimming tools to trim reads, then you can watch this playlist here. So